Very good afternoon, students. In the previous session, just I have given the introduction of fuel chemistry, and we have seen what is mean by the combustion and what are high calorific values and low calorific value and what is the calorific value. Yes. So now let us move to the next class, next topic, that is solid fuel. In solid fuel, we have the two topics, but before that, in solid fuel, we have only one topic, that is the coal. Coal is regarded as a fossil fuel produced from large accumulation of vegetable debris due to partial decay and alteration by the action of heat and pressure over millions of years. So this we are getting from the earth crust, from the vegetable debris, that means vegetable matter. And coal is a highly carbonaceous matter that has been formed as a result of alternation of vegetable matter under certain favorable conditions. That means in the presence of temperature and the pressure, this vegetable matter is converted to the coal in the earth crust. So it is chiefly composed of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen, besides non-combustible inorganic matter. So these are the elements that we have seen in the last class, that what are the elements are existing in the fuel. Not only coal, every fuel is composed with these elements. And along with these elements, inorganic matter also present in this. But we don't have the classification of coal. So I'm not going to explain you the classification of coal. So directly, I'm going to explain you the analysis of coal. There are two types of analysis of coal. But before that, what is analyzing here? We are analyzing whether the quality is good or bad. So to assess the quality, to analyze the quality, we have two analyses. One is called the proximate analysis and another one ultimate analysis. So by using these two analyses, we can estimate whether the coal sample is good or bad. Yes, so that is analysis of coal. In order to assess the quality of coal, the following two types of analysis are made. One is the proximate analysis and another one is the ultimate analysis. Proximate analysis includes the determination of moisture, volatile matter, ash, and the fixed carbon. So what is the use of proximate analysis? It is using to find out how much amount of moisture is present, how much amount of volatile matter, how much amount of ash, how much amount of fixed carbon present in the coal. If you know the quantity of that, if you know that the particular coal sample is having more moisture, you can tell whether the quality is good or bad. Yes, obviously the quality is bad. If the moisture content is less, you can say that the quality is good. Yes, so we are estimating the percentage of moisture, volatile matter, ash, and the fixed carbon by using proximate analysis. And this gives quick and valuable information regarding commercial classification and determination of suitability for a particular industrial use. So where we can use a coal sample, so that we can get from the proximate analysis. But whereas by using ultimate analysis, it includes the determination of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur, and oxygen in the coal. Yes, by using this, we can find out each and every element percentage. How much amount of percentage of elements are present in the coal sample, that we can find out by using ultimate analysis. So the ultimate analysis is also called as an elemental analysis, because we are going to find out the elements in the coal sample. So how many analysis we have? We have the two analysis. One is the proximate and another one is the ultimate analysis. So what is the use of proximate analysis? We can find out percentage of moisture, percentage of volatile matter, percentage of ash, and the percentage of fixed carbon in the coal sample. And whereas by using ultimate analysis, we can find a percentage of carbon, percentage of hydrogen, percentage of sulfur, percentage of nitrogen, percentage of oxygen in the coal sample. And for the determination of elements present in the coal, it is also called elemental analysis. So ultimate analysis is also called as an elemental analysis. So this analysis gives exact result and are useful in calculating the calorific value of coal using Dulong's formula. So you know the Dulong's formula. In the Dulong's formula, we have carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur. Yes. What are the elements there? Percentage of. We can find out how much amount of percent are there in the ultimate analysis. By substituting these percentages, we can find out how much amount of high calorific value is there for the particular coal sample. Yes, so that is about types of analysis, proximate and the ultimate analysis. So today I'm going to explain you the proximate analysis. What is the use of proximate analysis? What is the use of proximate analysis? We can find a percentage of moisture, volatile matter, ash, and the fixed carbon. So in the first step, we are going to find out the percentage of moisture. So to find out the percentage of moisture, what we are doing here, what we are going to find out here, we are going to find out the percentage of moisture in the first step. So in the first step, about 1 gram of finely powdered air dried coal sample is weighed in a crucible. Here crucible is one of the container. So like beaker, we are having one crucible here. This is called the silica crucible. So like this we are having in this crucible, what we are doing, initially we are taking 1 gram of the coal sample. And this crucible is placing in the hot air oven. Let us assume this is the oven. In this we are placing, this crucible is placing in the oven and maintain the oven temperature as 105 to 110 degrees centigrade. We are maintaining this oven temperature as 105 to 110 degrees centigrade. Now the crucible is allowed to remain in oven for 1 hour and then taken out. That means we are placing the silica crucible in the oven for 1 hour and maintaining the temperature 105 to 110 degrees centigrade. After 1 hour, we are removing the oven. We are removing the silica crucible from the oven and cooling in the desiccator. Yes, desiccator is one of the equipment which is used to cool the silica crucible. Yes, so it is the silica crucible which is having the lid. So by opening the lid, we can remove the silica crucible from the desiccator. After that, we are taking the weight of the silica crucible. So initially, the silica crucible weight was more before placing in the oven. And after placing in the oven for 1 hour, the silica crucible weight will be reduced. We are taking that weight here. Obviously, the weight will be reduced because all the moisture will be removed. All the moisture will be escaped in the oven. So we are getting the less weight. From that loss in weight, we can find out the percentage of moisture. Yes. So this is percentage of moisture. So percentage of moisture is equals to loss in weight divided by weight of coal sample taken into 100. This is a formula of percentage of moisture. And the second step is a percentage of volatile matter. For find out percentage of volatile matter, before this, just I will give one point that volatile matter means the matter which can be evaporating easily. But moisture is removing just by placing in the sunlight or by placing in the oven, it will be escaping in the environment, but we can't get the water vapor in the moisture. But whereas in the volatile matter, we can get the water vapor because it can be evaporating easily. So we are removing the volatile matter. We are finding the percentage of volatile matter by placing the lid on the silica crucible. After finding percentage of moisture, the same silica crucible along with the cap placing in the furnace. Here furnace also one of the heating equipment. It is similar to the oven, but furnace can bear more temperature than the oven. Yes. So we are placing the silica crucible along with the cap in the muffle furnace or electric furnace and maintaining the temperature 925 plus or minus 20 degrees centigrade. And after that, the silica crucible is taken out of the oven after 7 minutes. So we are maintaining this temperature for 7 minutes in the furnace. After 7 minutes, we are removing the silica crucible from the furnace and without lid, we are placing the silica crucible in the desiccator for cooling purpose. And after that, all the moisture, that means all the volatile matter will be sticking to the container, that means to the lid. When you remove the lid, all the volatile matter will be sticking to the lid. Yes, that means you have removed the volatile matter. So when you take the weight of the silica crucible, obviously the weight will be reduced. From that loss of weight, we can find out percentage of volatile matter. So percentage of volatile matter is equals to loss in weight due to removal of volatile matter divided by weight of cool sample taken into 100. This is percentage of volatile matter. And the next step is percentage of ash. Yes, percentage of ash. After finding percentage of volatile matter, so after finding percentage of moisture and volatile matter, we are going to find out the percentage of ash with the same silica crucible. The same silica crucible is placing in the oven or muffle furnace at 700 to, that means 750 degrees centigrade plus or minus, for half an hour. So when you maintain this more temperature for half an hour, the entire sample is converts to the ash. By using that ash weight, by using that residue weight, we can find out the percentage of ash. And the crucible is then taken out, cooled first in air and then in desiccator and weighed. Again, heating, cooling, weighed is repeated. Yes. So for finding ash, we are not doing this step at single time. We are again repeatedly doing heating and the cooling process until get the constant weight. Till get the constant weight, we are doing this process. When you get the constant weight, you can find out the percentage of ash by using the residue weight. So here percentage of ash is equals to weight of ash left divided by weight of coal sample taken into 100. This is the formula of percentage of ash. And finally, we can find out the percentage of fixed carbon. Percentage of fixed carbon is nothing but total minus sum of the remaining elements. Sum of the remaining elements means moisture, volatile matter, and the ash. From 100, if you remove moisture, volatile matter, and ash, you can find out the fixed carbon. So percentage of fixed carbon is equals to 100 minus percentage of moisture plus volatile matter plus ash. Yes, this is fixed carbon. Yes, so you have to remember the temperature range and the time range. In the first step, 105 to 110 degrees centigrade for 1 hour. In the second step, for finding volatile matter, you're placing the silica crucible for 7 minutes, maintaining 900 plus or minus 25 degrees centigrade. And for the third step, for finding percentage of ash, you're placing the silica crucible in the furnace, maintaining the temperature 700 plus or minus 50 degrees centigrade for half an hour. And finally, fixed carbon, by subtracting the remaining elements with 100, you can find out the fixed carbon. So this is about the proximate analysis. So now let us see what is the importance of the proximate analysis. So for individual elements, we are having individual performance and the importance. So let us see what is the importance of proximate analysis. Moisture. You know what happens to the fuel if the moisture is increasing. If the moisture is more, we know that obviously whatever the heat is releasing, that heat energy value will be reduced. Heat energy means calorific value. So that means if the moisture is more, the calorific value will be less. But for the good fuel, the calorific value must be high. Even same in the volatile matter and ash also. For the good fuel, volatile matter and ash should be less because these are decreasing the calorific value. So let us see one by one. Moisture lowers the effective calorific value of coal. So moreover, it quenches the fire in the furnace. Hence, lesser the moisture content, better the quality of coal. However, presence of moisture up to 10% produce a more uniform fuel bed and less of fly ash. So 10% is acceptable. If we have the more than 10% of the moisture, that is not acceptable. Yes, so more moisture, less quality, and less amount of moisture, the better the quality of coal. And next, volatile matter. A high volatile matter containing coal burns with a long flame, high smoke, and has low calorific value. So hence, lesser the volatile matter, better the rank of the coal. So higher volatile content in coal is undesirable. Yes. And next, ash. A high volatile matter content means that high proportion of fuel will be distilled and burned as a gas or a vapor. So the volatile matter present in the coal may be combustible gases or non-combustible gases. So volatile matter content is a special significance in coal gas manufacture and its carbonization plants, particularly when byproduct recovery is the main objective. So this is not no need of this point, no need to write this point, and directly you can move to the next, ash. Ash is a useless non-combustible matter, so which reduces the calorific value over. So moreover, ash causes the hindrance to the flow of air and heat, thereby lowering the temperature. Hindering is nothing but stopping. Ash is stopping the flow of air and the heat. So it is decreasing the temperature and it is also decreasing the calorific value. So for the best quality of coal sample, the ash content also should be less. And the last one, fixed carbon. The fixed carbon should be high because for the good fuel, the carbon content should be high. If the carbon is more, the calorific value will be more. So for the best quality of coal sample, the moisture content, volatile matter, and ash content should be less, and the fixed carbon content must be more. That is about the proximate analysis of coal. And today I'm not going to explain you ultimate analysis because if you listen both are in the same day, you will be confused. Yes, so this is about the proximate analysis. In the next class, we will see the ultimate analysis, and that is somewhat lengthier than the proximate analysis.